And I do believe we're gonna look over the minutes from the last one. Everybody look over that. Everybody got their stuff correct? Yep. For the June 9th and also the June 16th. Also the minutes. Anybody have any questions over concerns we need to address on that? If there's nobody got anything on that, we need a motion to approve that.
Make that motion.
Okay, got one motion.
Second.
Second, okay. All in favor, Mark?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
All right, motion passes. All right, we'll get started with Chief Gibbons for a fire report.
Hello. Hello, good evening. Last month, we ran 104 calls for service. Today, I looked at the number, we are at 825 for the year. Usually that first number line is 50 a month, so we're a little ahead. All of our classroom portion for the EMT class is complete with 4 of the 9 students already having all their stuff done. They can go take the National Registry, and if they pass, they get licenses and EMT and similar. So all 4 of them are with Mountain Grove, so pretty excited about that. We never mind.
I thought I had that down.
We started instructing 1 class that I'm teaching on the 1st of July. I've got 9 students in there. Some of the ones that took my part 1 and 2 last year are in there as well. So we'll have more certified instructors to teach state classes here. Kind of gives me a little bit of a break from getting out there every day at night. With that, I posted on Facebook, I'm sure you guys saw it, that we're doing a hazmat class starting August 2nd. I'm using another fire department's templates, so it'll be over the weekends, kind of free up some time so people aren't rushing to get up there at 6 p.m. on a weekday. And with the rollout of the new curriculum, we're able to break it up into different sections now. So I think that'll be more beneficial for us. Currently for that class, I have 24 people signed up out of 25 spots. I want to say 10 of those are from Mountain Grove. So trying to get everybody trained up. We have the rental inspections. I don't know if you guys have heard this or not. We actually moved from a carbon copy paper to report based off of our report software that we use. We can actually go in there and click the address and go through. And I put in all the stuff from the check sheet. We can go through and click it. Once it's done, they sign, I sign, or whoever inspects it sign. You hit the little button and it emails a copy to the collector here at City Hall. And if they give an email address, they get a copy emailed to them as well. And the inspector doing the inspection also gets an email. Basically with that, I'm just trying to cut down on the amount of paperwork. If prior to that, we get phone calls, hey, did you guys inspect this place? And then we have to dig through a file, looks like this, of all the same looking page, looking for that address. And now we just type it in and go, yep, we did, it's right here, you should have a copy of it. Talking with the girls up here, they're all super on board with it, they like it. It's just one little thing that the citizen has to bring with them. You know, all they have to bring now, I think, is a driver's license and a lease. They can get their water turned on. And then the last thing is we have a University of Missouri extension class next Monday and Tuesday over lithium-ion batteries. You know, there's been more reports of those spontaneously combusting this kind of breaks it down, what you gotta do, how you gotta fight it. You know, because you can't just throw water on it, hope it works, you gotta. Ugh, it's a big mess, but everybody's using lithium ion batteries now, so it's one of those things that I feel like we need. We have 22 people signed up for that class, and I want to say 14 of those are Pattenberg. So, we're all pretty excited about that. That's really all I have.
Anybody have any questions? I think you're good then.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, next up would be Chief Bledsoe.
Good evening. This month, numbers don't reflect quite as much. I think we were right at around 700 calls for service for the month. And, it's been busy. It really has been. I was able to attend the Drury Law Enforcement Academy, which we had a officer graduate from. If someone put us up to a full staff. About that. So, but actually, I don't know what I guess. But we're excited to have Caleb on board. Caleb, comes from a long line of law enforcement in his family, so tip of that. So, he, graduated Thursday, and hit the road Friday morning, starting his FTO. So he'll have, 8 weeks of that. We'll expect to lose on his own, and, but I think it's gonna be great. Received a grant from the, Southeast Coalition for Safe Roadways. It was about a $3,000 grant for a new radar unit, one for vehicles, which just cuts down on cost for us having to buy one because we're really needing some. And, the only other thing I really have that's going to probably excite you guys a little bit is I now have a person designated to do nuisance violation full time. He has started, so
Who is that?
Danny Sprague. So Danny said, he's got 19 years on the department, and he's kind of looking for something to kind of finish out his career a little bit, so. I think he's gonna do a great job at it, but it's nice to have somebody that will start the process.
And follow it through to
Follow
the
all the way
end,
through
yeah.
to completion. I think it'll streamline things a lot more.
And it's also fun, somebody that actually wanted to do it too, is happy with it.
Yes. And obviously, I mean, it's not a, position that's gonna keep him busy his whole shift, but, he is gonna be working Monday through Friday, 8 to 4. And, when he's not busy, he can obviously do other law enforcement things, and then of course, if the guys are tied up, he's another car that we can call to answer calls.
Good deal. Can you start that already?
Yes, started yesterday. Or, I'm sorry, Friday. I think he had 12 today, so he's,
Well, today, all right, so he's working pretty hard then.
yes.
That's good. Now, anybody have any questions for Chief Bledsoe? Yes, off. Thank you, Danny. Okay, so next, Laura's gonna give us the, senior report.
This is for June. They have monthly total meals, 4,181 meals. In the dining room, 60 years and older, 1,615. The dining room under 60 is 25. Home delivered freezer meals is 2,541. They are busy.
And I can tell you, if you ever get the opportunity to be able to volunteer, help serve a meal over there, it's a blessing. I go every Friday. But I choose Friday because they have the band there and the dance.
I know I drove by there this afternoon, probably about 1 o'clock, and that place was packed out. Nowhere to, I mean, that's common for them, so.
Well, they call me the new barmaid over there.
I don't know if that's good or not, Brenda.
Well, I told them that was funny, and they asked me what was funny, and I said, because I've never been in a bar in my life.
They had a open position now, don't they?
No, they got filled.
It's been,
They get
Yep,
filled,
they got filled this
excellent,
week.
good,
So-
I hear that.
Kristen, I don't know if anybody knows her. Is the assistant cook now.
Good,
And they moved, Wayne Bradshaw up to head cook.
good. Excellent.
And for those that don't know, the reason we need the spot open is because the young lady that was doing it graduated, got her nursing, correct?
No, but something.
Somewhere in the medical field, and
yeah.
she has actually went to go fulfill her job. And so we want to see that. They're moving up, and so congratulations to her.
Yeah.
So, next, we're gonna call up Cheyenne Smith for the Citizens Advisory Board. I heard they're been working pretty hard.
Evening. We met last Monday on the seventh. We had 7 in attendance. All 4 of our new members were present for this meeting. Given our objectives, we've had a topic of discussion. You can see our minutes viewed here. We do have objectives for each month, which we are meeting those. Per your request, we have reviewed and we do like, the proposed graphic. I don't know who came up with that, not Bobby.
That was Dale.
There you
Dale
go.
time.
Yes.
That
The
one.
invest in your hometown, the square one.
You not even remember that, Dale?
I-
Right here that you drew up
Do you
for us?
remember it?
We do like that. I think it was a good job. So thank you very much. So if that's something that you guys approve, we would like to move forward with that graphic for design. I'm sorry.
I don't even know how to make it real and look good.
Yeah, maybe with Bobby's
Guess
help.
that's something else.
You're the digital artist, yeah.
So do we need to seek that or will you seek Bobby for that?
Yeah, we're giving.
I don't know where.
Well. we'll
I
ask-
can reach out
I
to
guess
Bobby.
we- Yeah.
Okay.
It don't
Yeah,
really
I'll
matter.
connect with Bobby on that and
If there's
see
anything we need
what
to
we
do.
need to do to get it to fruition. So, yeah.
And how it had my and our on there. I think we said my, but did you guys talk about that? Or were we already on my before that? Because the graphic still had both on it.
It has both,
What
what
did you
is-
guys think?
we liked it either way, whether it's our or mine, it makes it personal either way, if you're investing in it as mine. So I guess that was.
Did we go
I may have been
I
wrong.
think we decided on
I think we
Yeah,
just
I
said
think I
an
spoke
hour.
wrong. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah,
I'm-
that's a little more.
I like
yeah,
you, though. I like
fine.
both. I couldn't say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what we said, just go with our hometown, just has that pop to it.
Okay. We are aware at this time that the chamber is not on board and has not expressed interest in helping with this tax incentive. Is that still correct? Has that changed at all?
We haven't been notified.
We would like to revisit that conversation, whether it's someone from the council or one of our board members, but we would like to get them on board. We do feel that that is very crucial, considering there's so many business owners that attend those meetings. And once we have a graphic, one of our board members can present that at every meeting, and pass out free graphics to other business owners if they're willing to support it. And that's gonna go a long way. So we would like to revisit that with your approval, whether it's one of you or one of us.
Definitely like to move forward. I would like to figure out what we gotta do to get them on board.
Okay. Would you like us to address that, or would one of you?
It's probably gonna come better. It's probably going to be better coming from your.
Yep, one of our new
Start.
members did say that he would be welcome to addressing that, so we will let him know that he can carry on. with that.
Yeah, carry on with that, and then obviously we'll support as a council however we can, but I think we've tried in the past as a council and have not been met with much.
Bring back to us if they're choosing not, why? What is the reasonings behind? Because I know you guys have really worked hard, and I've heard actually a little bit about your last meeting that you guys have done some extensive research on this tax to get the information out. And so I'd like to know what their reasoning is behind this, if they so choose not to be on board.
Was it from the director or from the board that they were not interested? Do you know where that feedback came from?
That I don't know, let me know.
Can't remember.
My guess is it's far enough back, it may not even still be the case. We may just need to approach it with
Yeah.
positive that it will be. It's my gut feel. but I don't know.
Previously, it was the board that didn't want to be.
Oh.
Yeah, because they were contacted by someone, I thought, within the, I don't know if it's one of the administrators or something.
I think it was, yeah.
I told them that they as a board, I think, has decided that they.
Was it individual members can support it, not the board as a group, is what?
I don't.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
That's
I think it was
possible.
just as a organization. Collectively, they were not.
Because I know you guys got
Citizens supporting.
several businesses on the Citizen Advisory Board, am I right?
Correct.
And they're, so I mean, it's.
Yeah.
We need more businesses that
Yeah.
are.
And that's why I think it might be
Right.
better coming from people who are actively involved in
So we'll let him know that he can pursue that conversation again.
Yeah, please.
All right,
But should we, before you go on that, should we wait until we have like, or I guess we kind of have our 3 points and our graphic together, like, you know, to make it the best possible? Is that something you're asking too? Or like go ahead and start it
We just
now?
wanted permission to pursue the conversation and readdress it, that we could gain their partnership in addressing it once we do have a
I'm
graph.
sure they'll ask, you know, well, what are you gonna use it for, and those kind of things. You want to be prepared for that.
Right, and we have those 3 bullet points from last
Okay.
time. Has that
Yep.
changed?
No.
No, that is set in stone.
Yes.
Okay. So is that fine to proceed?
Well, tell me what were the 3, because I think I learned later in that night last month or something that one of them may have not been right. But now, what are the 3? Did you have, we had pool, we had
Not in that order. So it was infrastructure, water and sewer, roads, and then pool.
because Rick, you may have to remind me, I think it was later in that same evening,
Sewer was not,
one of the things we learned we can't.
I think that was a sewer.
I think it was sewer, yeah.
What was your question?
Well, we come up with 3 bullet points to say what the use tax would be used for primarily.
Use it in water and sewer.
Well, okay, so that's one but that, I guess you say infrastructure, that's still,
We do want
that's
to
a
be very
blanket.
transparent with that, but maybe if we could get a bullet point under infrastructure, that would be
I
better.
would.
so streets can be.
Streets,
Yeah.
Now, what it would do is, in one turn, free up money from one portion to spend more money on sewer and water. Yeah, I guess it's already earmarked in its fund now.
General fund money and sewer money are 2 separate entities. Can't be mixed.
So it can't be.
So if you save 100,000 in sewer and water, you can't transfer to general fund and vice versa. It's its own entity.
So would and just to recap, we have already talked about this because it's very confusing, but would the use tax, if passed, be all general fund money, or would it still be split up the same way the sales tax is?
No, it's general.
I wonder why it wouldn't be split up the same 1%, half.
Well, it is. It'd be split. It'd be its own income. But it's still general fund. It's not sewer and water. None of our sales tax is.
Okay, that's right. So we still get 1% from the police and fire.
Right.
We wouldn't get any more on the sewer because that comes from the bills. Okay. So then to recap points, then, yeah, infrastructure, sub-point, streets, we could spend it on because
Oh, yeah.
we're already getting 0.5% toward that.
Parks, I mean, there's a
And
lot
then
of.
pool.
So we're going down to 2 bullet points.
Well, I'm saying we may need to come up with a different third one, or we may need to go down to
I
2.
thought we had, what was the bullet point? I thought we used the word parks and recreation.
yeah.
We did.
Yeah,
We
that's
did.
good.
Yes.
But then would that be then
I thought it
sub-point?
just sounded like,
Well, we did mention that, and someone said we might not need to mention pool, but Rick and thought that we should mention pool, and some of us did as well, because it's such a hot topic right
Right, and
now.
I think like Shan said, we don't want to go for
Wanting
vagueness,
another
we want
pool.
to go for transparency.
did we say streets and sidewalks before?
Yes, that's what it was, sidewalks.
I'm trying to, I couldn't find my notes.
I wouldn't be afraid. I wouldn't be real concerned with the amount or the number of bullet points, simply because, I mean, if we're being honest about it, what do we want the money for?
The better our city.
Streets and pool.
That's for the roads.
Quality of life.
Well, be telling the city,
Citizens.
it is for,
So if it is for the pool, are we able to bump that up to number 1, pool, and then infrastructure being park and rec and streets?
well, obviously, the council has to decide once a year what their priorities are, and those priorities can change from year to year. However, I think everyone's made it quite clear, the majority is leaning toward pool.
Okay.
And I'm just saying, if you're gonna ask people for money, and we want to be transparent about where that money's going, a big portion of it's gonna go to the pool, don't you think?
Mhm.
And then the other amounts technically is gonna be adjusted year to year depending on the needs. Because we don't know what might be the big thing next year compared to this year. Because things do change that often.
Well, we know there's a lot of talk about money for streets too, so I think it's
Oh, yeah.
important to put that, at least, like you said initially.
How about just 3 sound bites? Parks and recreation, streets and sidewalks, and events and festivals. That's 3 points. And we do existing spend over 100,000 in events and festivals, but we kind of feel like we're struggling to get to those numbers every year.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a good thing.
I'm not sure.
So it's a
I
recast.
don't really, I think we need to think about it, because honestly, I don't think anybody wants to pass a new tax, so that we can give that money away to somebody else.
On events and
Yeah.
festivals, and I
They
agree.
want to see it
I
something.
think, I think they might be critical.
Well, at least streets and pools are invested in communities. We have
Yeah.
20 years.
Because what we had talked about previously, priorities for use of tax funds, this is what I had sent to them. The use tax goes into the general fund. Our city prioritizes for the use tax revenues are streets and sidewalks, parks and recreation, and the city pool. So those were the things we had discussed previously, and that's what I sent to them for the three
I don't see
bullet.
why we can't leave it at
That's,
that.
that's exactly right.
Okay,
If I were you, I'd put the pool, so.
okay, so maybe just pull at the top.
Because-
Yeah,
because
so
that's-
put pull at top and then like
Okay.
streets and
Yeah.
sidewalks, because that's definitely something that's talked about a lot in our community, streets.
Mhm.
And then parks and recs is the third thing.
But isn't pool a subset of Parks and Recs?
It is, but we wanted to highlight it and
Okay.
And that's
kind
the
of-
number one.
Well, that's what I mean, if she's gonna say infrastructure subset streets, Parks and Rec subset pool,
I think we're getting a little technical on it.
I think
Yeah,
that
just say-
that's
just
what's
say the
just gonna
exact
add
thing.
Like one of
confusion.
the-
I think we need to make it
and then other Parks and Rec can be the third thing.
What we gotta think of it as is
pool,
done it
streets and
down.
sidewalks and then parks. and rec.
We're looking into it too hard with all that stuff. We wanna get to the general population that don't care about all that
Right,
stuff.
but
They
that's
want
what she's asking.
general wording, yeah.
Yeah.
So like, like the pool,
Yeah,
that's.
so city pool, streets and sidewalks, parks and recreation.
Okay.
So those are the
But then
three.
like, how this would work, you know, if I'm saying this right, correct me, so we pass the use tax, we get 3%, so 1% that comes in is gonna be police and fire. So then, but then what that would do in return, you just working this through the underlaying, it's still all gonna go toward the things we said, because then that extra 1% toward police and fire is that, whatever X number of dollars that makes, it's that many X dollars we don't have to take out of the general fund to make up for it.
Those are
Is
two
that
separate
accurate?
entities, right? Police and fire is
No,
completely.
but follow me, so the use tax is gonna split up the same way as their sales tax currently. 1% general fund, 1% police and fire, half transportation, half, capital outlay, or however. So 1% of the tax will have to go to police and fire, but we're already using some of our initial 1% to pay for police and fire, so that 1% will go there. Well, let's say it makes $100,000 in that, I have no idea, but in that, just in that 1%. Then that's $100,000 we don't spend out of the general fund. And I know we'll make this, but is that, so then in turn, it's all going back into what would be the pool in the streets, but working it backwards, right? Is that, so not to confuse anybody more, but that's how it would actually happen.
So that is the transparency of how it would happen, because we were not aware of that, the use tax would be split up to 1% police and fire. We
Is
thought
the
it
use
all
tax
went
and
to
sales
the general
tax,
fund.
they're the same rate, but are they actually the same restrictions on it?
What?
Should
That's
be,
what I'm wondering.
I mean, they're both 3%,
should be the same restrictions of.
because the use tax was originally 100 years ago not had anything to do with sales. It was just, it was always across the state line or another internet commerce tax.
Cause it would end up being the same, like if the county passes.
But our rate is
it would end up being
3%,
It's the
9.1.
exact same thing as our existing
Right.
general fund 1-cent sales tax.
So that's the easiest way.
So it's
the exact
Your
same.
3%
budget's
use tax
not
equals
how
a
you
1%.
walk.
Yeah.
Not that if this were to pass, how it would come in and how it would be allocated.
Yeah, but I would say people don't need to worry if it's gonna be, well, 1% is gonna go to the police and fire, it would, but they may be in the same budget anyway. It's just, we already have to come out of the general fund to bring that up.
You're just saying overall picture revenue.
Right, so
Yeah.
we give
I
1 point,
I know it.
we give 1.5 million on that tax, for
Mhm.
police and fire, they spend about 2 million.
Right, so
So we're making a
yeah,
half a
that's
million
what-
out
I
of general
understand.
fund.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right, are all clear then?
So then it's really gonna give us a 3% bump overall.
it's just an overall wash in areas that we're lacking, so
That-
everything gets pulled to the general fund and you compensate when needed, and then what's left is distributed in the areas that we're addressing.
Yeah, so then they can
Correct.
still be distributed in those areas.
I understand that.
Okay.
Thank you. Potential partners for the outreach, we do wanna address, maybe Brenda, if we could get with you with the Lions Club on this use tax, once we have some good objectives here that we can present to the community. Is that okay with you? Okay. I would also like to get with the school district and the assisted living and senior centers as well.
Would you like to come to next Lions Club meeting and, present this?
I would like to have a clear, visual to present as well, because it's not very memorable when you're just talking about, but if I had something I could
Okay,
pass out.
when you get ready, let me know.
Okay, yeah, we can do that. And I do believe that's our objectives later on towards the fall is outreach, directly. We did want to have a clear visual first before we did that,
Okay.
but I will get with you with.
Yeah, just let me know.
Okay. Assisted living and the senior centers as well. We do have business owners on the board, like we talked about. I know even Reason Under the Sun is willing to. We have a few other business owners that would provide the food on a set day for the senior center, do a small presentation. We'd like to put it in the paper, so anyone who has basically objectives, concerns, questions can come and quiz us, I guess, on what they feel, is a disadvantage, so we can enlighten them and educate them in the proper way.
Love that.
And that would be something that our businesses will put forth and provide the food for on that day. If Fridays are the hit day because there's a band and that's the highest numbers, we would want to pick a Friday, so.
There's usually a very big crowd there on Fridays.
Okay. All right. And then back to raising public awareness, many of us have seen your videos that you've been posting in your, one or two videos within your updates, whether it's daily, weekly that we've seen. We've got a lot of good feedback from that. Is that something that you're willing to do on a monthly basis?
Yeah, if you bring it to me I'll gladly do it.
It was discussed that people aren't educated because they're not attending the city hall meetings and they're not clicking on the YouTube video because it's hard to find. That was brought to our attention. Would you be willing, not that you have any extra free time, but to do a recap of the meeting, just from your perspective on what was given, just bullet points, not all the added to, because people are really watching you, and they like that transparency.
Well, that's what I'm writing down now, bullet points. So,
Okay,
I mean,
okay.
I'm down with that. I agree. And I'll do
And
it.
we think that would be a good way to spread the use tax as well, so to get the word out. I mean, you have a lot of followers watching you on that.
Yeah.
So.
And if you guys have something that you want to bring to me that you'd like bullet points, by all means, get them to me and I'll make sure that I hit those keynotes. I'd be more than willing to help do that.
Awesome. Let's see here, next on there, we talked about, if you read over the notes, we've got some feedback so far about how people felt they were betrayed with the budget. We do, like Zach talked about, we want to be completely transparent about it, and we want to make sure we have the right information. I did reach out to, Peggy Porter, the city administrator of Ava, and we talked about the use tax with her and how long it's been implemented and what they use it for and the revenue that they have produced with it. And she said that in their community, they're projecting about 350,000 for this year in that use tax, and if you compare Ava's population to ours, it's not gonna solve our pool problem or our streets or parking lots, but it will definitely aid in helping us, whether we have to apply for a grant for the remaining half or where we're at with that for the pool coming up with half and supplying half of that. So we really think that pushing the pool with that is gonna help. Because that's what the people want to see right now. Going on to that, we talked about old business here, a grant writer that was given to us a few months ago to discuss that position. Where are we at on that? Do you still want us to pursue that job description and coming up with that? Is that going to be in our administrator job description? Where are we with proceeding with that?
We use Call for our grant, but
For everything. Okay,
yeah, so if there's a grant that you're aware of, we'll ask them to keep us informed of any money that we might be eligible for pool. But if you come up with something, let me know and I'll call them and get them on board and get on that. But they're professionals at writing, and there's no need for us we're already paying for that service.
okay.
So it'd be duplicate of effort if we hire a grant writer.
So for better understanding, where are we paying for them for that service at? Where?
Through our
where's that?
membership, we're one of the two original creators of SCOCO.
So in that membership, that's what's included in that for us?
Yeah,
It's-
that's
Okay.
their job is to write grants for every member.
Okay,
And we're, like I said, we're a founding member. We don't have special privileges, but we're recognized they wouldn't exist if Mountain Grove hadn't put them in business.
Okay.
Years ago. And they're very thankful for that. And they're, have always been there for us. Right now, we're, what, 3, 4, 5 of them. They're doing all of them. Now we have applied on our own for some part money, which would come under, but it's not the kind of money that we need. We need, somebody to give us millions, not
Yeah.
50,000 or,
So the previous grant that was applied for and discussed and voted on last fall and the deadline was not met, was not so.
I don't know what they did, but I have no.
No, it wasn't scope out.
It was not.
No.
So there are other,
So,
That was our grant writer, but it was a,
well,
It
the
was-
city
it was a
couldn't get,
department.
yeah, the city couldn't get the information
to the,
together fast
yes,
enough to get it.
but it was not.
I was asking
No.
the school call to write it.
Well,
yeah, that was our
the scope out was gonna write it, but we didn't have the.
We didn't meet the
opportunity to
deadline.
Get it presented, yeah, we didn't meet the deadline.
So the answer,
There was Melanie Barnett with Skowcog though, that was here.
Yeah.
That last meeting. So Skowcog was assisting, they were helping us with it. Yeah. So I think the answer to your question is yes.
Yes, okay, I just want to make sure I didn't misunderstand. Okay, so whether, if anyone has any concern or question about a grant, we bring that to who at City Hall? You?
Yeah.
Okay, about pursuing that?
Yeah.
So we do not need to pursue with hiring a grant writer who is constantly seeking grants for the city?
No, because Skowcog's constantly seeking grants for the city. All we have to do is tell them the subject.
Okay,
We're not having to seek anything right now because we paid so much on grants, we're out of money for that. But yeah, we'll want them to seek for the pool. Obviously, so we will work with them on that. But I don't know when it begins. I'm gonna have to call them and ask them. Cause some of them start June 1st, some of them you don't start applying to until September 1st, some of them the end of the year.
okay.
I don't know what that particular category, I don't have any idea when it starts, they'll tell us.
Originally, when we were requested to do this, it was because people were overloaded with job duties and we didn't have someone seeking those things. So you're constantly seeking those and we can eliminate this duty.
Yes, that's almost true. Yes, the city is constantly seeking outside funds to help us with projects.
Okay.
No, we're not actively seeking anything right now because we're spending our money.
we don't have a match.
We're waiting till we get some things stopped, which we have got a couple things in the, but we just need to free some money up because there's always a match of some kind. And, so we ask them for money when we need it. And, so we'll ask them for money when we need it for the pool. But we can find out when we have to have the information, get a packet from them on what kind of information, then we can get all that started and be ready. Because that's what happened last time. We weren't ready. City wasn't ready on our end. So I guess, well, I wasn't here, but the
That's right.
deadline came and went before we got ready.
Okay.
And so we can get better prepared and stuff.
They didn't have money for our match, part of being ready to go.
We will eliminate that. Do you have any questions on our meeting minutes?
I emailed them to everybody in case.
Yeah,
you had
keep
any
it out to us.
questions.
Sounds like you guys are working hard. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
We have one. Okay, we have one. Does anybody else have a public comment before we close that section? No, we're gonna move on to old business. All right. Old business, Amy's going to bring us some stuff on the tax report.
Yep, so I sent everybody a spreadsheet just to put some visual on our sales tax revenue and the breakout of the different percentage taxes. So I sent everybody like a Google Sheets. So there's the sales tax information, police and fire, capital improvements and transportation. So each have its own tab. To kind of bring it all in, I think the point to recognize is that for total taxes, our percent change or how much it's grown over the past 3 years has basically been about 5 to 6% growth in our taxes. And I think we would probably all agree that our expenses are not growing by that small of an amount. No, we are behind and we're getting further behind because it's kind of getting flat now as far as like kind of the consistent instead of having a larger increase. Where if you look historically, since doors provided all the way back to 2012. So I included all those in there and things like police and fire and kind of those breakouts didn't happen that far back, to 2012. So there's a ton of numbers, but just to keep it, I think as simplistic as possible is recognizing is that we were increasing that revenue from sales tax at a steeper rate, and then now it's just kind of, it's not growing as much. So that I just want to show that transparency around the money for the use tax. While Rick is correct and it's not gonna solve all of our problems, it's not gonna be this like huge amount, but we can see how much things have been impacted by things going to online sales and missing out on that revenue. And
I think
money's money and our city needs
the most
it.
important thing, that thing I just gave you is that what she's provided. 3 years of growth, not good, it's not big growth, what she's saying, but we don't want to go backwards.
Yeah.
We need to keep that growth going.
Yeah.
And I honestly, I think we're gonna be better this year. It's the way I'm reading it.
Yeah.
But, I hope so. That'd be 4 years. And that's, I just keep it going. But it isn't by large amounts at all. And certainly not enough to even really consider it. The only good thing is it's not going down,
Right.
but it's not going up either.
Yeah.
I think I was a little bit pleased to what I saw. I mean, I was afraid it might be worse. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that it is going up is good.
Well, I think we can attribute because this is a percentage, right? So things are getting more expensive to buy.
Yeah.
So that's also why it's growing. It's not because we are essentially selling more in the community as far as like units, I guess you would say, but dollar amounts is definitely higher because people are having to charge more for the goods and services in order to survive in our economy. So that's a lot of what this growth is coming from. It's just the fact that we're having to raise prices as businesses to be able to survive. So we're, of course, getting that benefit as a city, because when it costs more for things, we do get more money, but then as a city, it costs us more to run the city. And I think it's costing us more to run the city than what we're gaining in growth in sales tax. So, and just how it's set up right now.
Theoretically, it should be close to the same because that's keeping up with inflation. If one gets ahead of the other, something's not quite right.
But I think you brought up a good point when we were talking to Cheyenne about the fact that even just like the 1% that we bring in police and fire, that we have to take money from other places to meet the expenses. Like that percentage, that 1% isn't enough to cover all the expenses with the rising cost of staff and, vehicles and just running that department. So it's important that we do have transparency on where this money gets divided out into, and even the use tax that we get from online sales is still going to be divided in the same way, but it's going to help us get less behind. So it's going to help us get a little bit better in those departments, having more funds and less having to come out, like we were talking about, of the general fund. So I just think it's important to have that visibility around the numbers, and I'm kind of a numbers person. I like numbers, I like graphs. That helps me understand things a little bit better. So that's why I put this together, is just to kind of show that even more so of this comparison and kind of how much the use tax is needed. Even like I said, it's not going to solve all the problems, but it's definitely going to help, and we need that help in our city to continue to do the things that we want to do for the community. So that was that piece of things. Is there any questions about that?
One question I have
Yeah.
looking at it is, I can't understand why the sales tax, police and fire, capital, business, saving tabs, why aren't the percentages all the same? if it is grown.
Because after you have a general fund sales tax for 1 cent, there are some businesses that can't be charged twice. I think it has to do with banks. I can't remember off the top of my head, I need to list for you, but there's a list of businesses that can't be charged twice. So if you get 100,000 in general fund, the first one be passed, 1 cent, then the 1 cent from police and fire might not be, it might be 98,000. And if you look on those forms that I gave you, you'll see where, the first one is that you have on your list there is general fund, and the second sheet is the next one that's for police and fire. The odds a little less.
Yeah, almost 3,000 or 2 something less.
Yeah, that's because you can't charge certain entities double. And, so that's why that.
Well, it's not charging them double, it's just charging them the regular, I mean, I'm not following you there.
There's limits as to how much sales tax that you can put, any city can put on their citizens. And once you reach that limit, then there's just certain businesses that don't get taxed the same. And it's all set up by the state, Department of Revenue. I know that banks come into play, but there's others too. But,
Okay.
part of that reason is, I know banks are required to spend a certain amount of their money in the community each year. And they say, well, we're gonna get them away from the double taxation. So they might give up 2,000 in sales tax and spend 12,000 on a project in town. And that's why it's always never really been questioned, but I can get those lists for you.
Yeah.
It's like a sales tax exemption that they file with the state for certain products and goods and things like that.
Yeah.
Can I make a comment real quick?
Yeah.
The way that you presented that, I appreciate that, but the way that sounded, it's like that Clint and I were going way above what we were.
Oh, no, no.
That tax was never intended to fund 100% of police
Exactly.
and fire.
Yes, no,
So it-
I'm glad you pointed that out. Yes, it's definitely not. Like, we would like it to
Right,
better support police and fire, and yes, was not meant to.
I just want to say that, because Mark and I,
Yes,
we worked really hard on getting that to be passed, and we never sold it as it going to fund us completely. It was to offset general funds
yeah.
because of the rising cost.
So that there's at least a standard pot that is allocated just for
Yes,
police and
yes.
fire, and then we contribute extra from the general fund to support police and fire. So yes, it's not, it was not designed that way.
Think about it that way, yeah, it's already taken.
Well, you offset it already. You offset it 1.5 million.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything before, it all comes. from-
Right, it was all.
Do we have any more questions for Jamie?
I appreciate that, Rick, that man, cause I was like, this does not make sense. What, there should be cut.
So the last thing to just point out real quick of just what's coming up for the Citizen Advisory Board to be working on over the next couple months, because they've accomplished pretty much, we're in the final stages of finalizing the message, the image and the flyer, establishing a list of groups and businesses that can be leveraged for supporting the campaign, and brainstorming a list of events to conduct, and improve awareness and gain support. So those are the things that they've completed so far. So the things for August and September, develop a set script that can be duplicated to share the ballot language and an interpretation, because that's a big sticking point, because we cannot change how it is on the ballot. It is what it is. So we want to make sure the community knows what's going to be on the ballot and actually what it means. So that's one thing that we're going to be working on over the next couple months. Working on a myth versus a reality approach. So understanding what people think this is and actually what it is. So having some literature that shows those differences. And then finalizing a list of events that they brainstormed over the last couple months. So that's what they're going to be working on. That's the directive that we've given them for the next couple of months. So just want to make sure everybody's aware of that. And that's it.
Well, we move on then now to the second reading of Bill 2025-06.
We need a motion to read the bill.
Got a second?
Mark seconds.
Yes?
Yep.
Yes.
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 Yes,
Yes.
Motion passes.
Bill number 2025-06, an ordinance regulating trash containers and other personal items on pedestrian walkways and public right of ways.
Make a motion to accept that.
Mark motion.
Second.
Jamie seconds.
Yep.
Bill,
We're passing ordinance, we read that.
second reading, yep.
You pass. Just
That was-
pass.
That's- Sorry.
That's the passage.
yes,
Yes.
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 Motion passes. Alrighty then, now we're going to go to, oh, yep, that's it. Well, we got blocking pedestrian right of ways. That's the same, yep, same as my.
Yeah.
Well, that's what on my page, yeah. We're gonna go to new business now on the 20525-8, first reading.
Mayor, this is a ordinance that was requested to get us in compliance with state statute. Our ordinance says that it's illegal to give a bad gesture or to say bad words to our police department and other public officials. Well, it's their First Amendment right to say whatever they want. And if the gesture is not threatening, they can make gestures. I don't want to do it for the cameras, but you know what I'm talking about. Somebody throws the one finger up at you, it's irritating, but it's not illegal in the state. Yeah. So this is just amending our ordinance to comply with the state statute.
I'll make the motion here first read.
Second,
Second.
Mark?
Yep.
Bill?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
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 yes,
Yes.
It's an ordinance changing subsection 8 of section 2652, disorderly conduct, by deleting subsection 8 and enacting in lieu thereof a new subsection 8, which shall read as follows. Subsection 8 addresses obscene gestures or threats to any member of the police department, any other authorized official of the city who is engaged in the lawful performance of his duties, or any person when such gestures have direct tendency to cause acts of violence. Gestures merely causing displeasure, annoyance, or resentment are not prohibited. That's the part we changed that last.
Why don't you explain it? I didn't understand.
I'll make the motion to accept first read.
Second.
Second.
is this a problem that we have with police officers being accosted that way?
Not
We
entirely.
don't want.
I was gonna say, just look at Danny and then you can see on his face. Yes, it happens all
Let's
the
start this, I had a
time.
call on somebody that brought it up and they don't want it to become a problem. I mean, if you're invoking on somebody's,
Oh, I think it's horrible to
Yeah.
do that. to
do I agree with it?
police
I think it's stupid. I don't think they should be doing it. I mean, you should respect your law enforcement, but we cannot infringe on people's rights to express themselves, so.
Rick, is this covering all city employees, all departments?
I think it's just,
Any city official who's engaged in lawful performance of their duties.
So if one department's reading meters and the guy gets hacked off and getting burned, so
Okay, we've even talked to our gals in the office. People can say whatever they want you to use. Say whatever you want to do. Yeah. Sometimes that's hard, especially when they're not attacked, but they're pretty vicious sometimes coming through that window. And we've had occasion where we've lost our cool. Hell, I've had occasion where I lost my cool. It just happens sometimes. But everybody's pretty good about it. Danny's been good so long. They've been calling him name for 25 years. He goes off him, water off of the back of it, you know. But we had to make everybody aware because we got all new people now. We had to make everybody aware. Sometimes you got to take a little verbal abuse, and we hate it, but that's just the way it works. We're not making this up. This is state statute. No. We already read one time. We can go on.
Yeah. we already had a motion, right?
yeah, we're waiting on a second, I think. No, Jim.
I second. We just have to vote.
Okay, Mark,
I voted yeah.
Dale,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes,
yes. Yes.
Yes.
yes.
Yes.
All right. All right. Now everybody's favorite, the nuisance violations.
Okay, we had some of you asked me, why is the police doing the nuisance abatement? used to be the fire department. I think it originally was police, then fire, went back to police.
No, it was originally, David Richardson.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but that was police,
But
yeah,
when we switched.
yeah.
No, he wasn't with police when we brought him up here.
Yeah.
In 1987, it was the fire.
Okay.
Holy cow, really?
Really?
I was here.
In 1997, it was the police.
Well,
Bounced around a lot.
okay, here's the thing. It was a legitimate question. Is this fair? How do we come up with this? Danny has taken upon himself to try to resolve this issue once and for all, and as an officer that's been here 19 years and is not done by any chance, but begin to slow down and wants to do the job. And I think you would be great at it personally, but I just want to know, is this going to resolve any issues that any of you might have? Or,
So who brought the issue up of moving it back to the police department?
well, I'm not at liberty to say that because I'm requesting to keep their privacy and the same I would for you if you had
Oh,
to
okay.
get quiet.
Well, I think it's kind of an insult to start with. I felt like the reason we got it in the first place is everybody thinks that the fire department just sits on the butts over there and does nothing. And that
Yeah.
irritated the fire out of me. I didn't have no say-so on taking it over, but that was the key.
I
I
understand.
think another thing we also remember is the fire department is non-commissioned to write, tickets, correct?
Right.
Law enforcement does have that ability, so that's why.
So that's partially true, but you can take like animal control, they're not a commissioned officer and they're still allowed to write citations. So I'm not trying to muddy the water, but
Okay, well, I
yeah,
didn't know
but like
that.
Mark was able to write citations for fire and
So
Yeah.
there, then that's when, the city administrator mayor would actually commission, because I think we did get some paperwork that, maybe, that's how that worked, correct?
so.
Then when
Okay.
Tim came, he said there's no need for fire to write tickets. That's what we had the police department for. And that was fine with me.
Which we've got resolved now by Danny Sprague taking it out,
Listen,
willingly taking it on.
I've said from the very beginning, I'm okay where it's at. Just give me the tools to do it. And Rick has done that with allowing that spot to be able to be used for that.
So we're actually at a perfect, there's really
Yes.
no.
I'm gonna say something and please get me kicked out of town. You said Danny Sprague, 19 years. I was here 32. The last day I worked just as hard that day as I did 10 years ago.
So I think what you're misunderstanding there, it's a different kind of grind when you're dealing with answering calls day in, day out, and then the schedules that they have to work. So
Is he physically able to fight a bad guy? I mean, he's getting at 19 years, he's literally physically wore down and he just can't handle
I don't.
scuffling with it.
Well, I was getting a little wore out too
Well, I
at
know you-
65 years old.
So I don't want you to think that that's, but let's be honest, Carmen, being when you first started the job, you probably hit just a little harder than what you did whenever your last day. I'm not saying you didn't work as hard, but your priorities changed just a little bit on what you think is what's going to be the most important thing. And him being able to do this is a lot better fit for him right now. So.
I feel a lot better having an officer doing it anyway than fire because we're seeing on TV all the time about what happened to firefighters.
Yeah.
So we just had two firefighters shot last
Yeah,
week.
and it's
Yeah.
terrible. I
So,
feel a lot
And
better
Danny
having
wasn't,
an
I was
officer.
just talking about that,
Kansas
the
City
realism of
firemen are-
giving the police or the fire best
No, that's
is a real sad thought.
So I really tell him thank you on my behalf because that's a big position to.
Our biggest issue was, the schedules that we work, it was hard for them to start at one time. And then that 10 days that we have to give them to comply may not fall when they're working. So that pushes it out maybe 11 to 13 days over. And that just slows the process down where he's going to be Monday through Friday. His main priority is to do this. He's not being, I don't want to say bothered, but pulled away from having to do that job with other calls. Just like we've had, there's several of you that have reached out to me and nuisance violations weren't the priority for us that day. We were dealing with domestic, we were dealing with missing people, we were dealing with all other things. And this
Now we
just,
have somebody.
we have somebody
And
who
willing to
focus,
take it.
yes, and they can focus just on that.
Well, it goes back to Rick's deal because every time he goes to a deal, he's gonna probably get one of those gestures, or
Yeah.
not gonna get somebody and not if they're best.
Yeah.
They're not gonna be saying, hey, I
Well,
don't.
I
need
mean,
to be
to be honest with you, our mechanic was in one of our patrol cars today and they had to stop to drop off a complaint. He was with one of the officers and the person walked out and just was
Yeah.
giving that gesture, you know, I mean, it's an everyday occurrence. So it's just, let us deal with it. We'll take care of it and you guys make your decisions on what you guys want to do. Let us handle that on it. So
Are we in agreement, then that takes care of that then?
What's the question? What was the actual topic?
Well, the question was, is it where it should be? Should it be with the fire? Should it be with the police?
I think it should
That's
be-
essentially.
You said the police before you asked the question, and said the police now, and everybody is concurrent in that. So we need to make a motion to stay at the police, or is it just?
Probably ought to take it. Yeah.
Do I have a motion to keep with police?
I'll second it.
David. Okay, Mark?
Yep.
Dale?
Yes.
No,
Yes.
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 Motion passes.
Can I ask a quick question about the nuisance report? There's a section that's now in blue. And the key does not show what the blue highlighting represents. Do you know what that change is?
I think Blue is in compliance, if I'm not mistaken. I don't have the report in front of me. And I apologize for that part, but if you'll go, maybe green
Green
is
is
compliance.
complied, red is non-compliant, continuous, white is currently working. And so I wonder if maybe white
Is it,
and blue is replacing white potentially.
Blue may be a work order
Oh, okay.
where, because like we've got several, that we cannot, they're not in probate court, and the person is deceased. And it's been a constant issue for the last 2 or 3 years. It's over in Mark's neighborhood. I don't know if it's that same one or not, but,
Yeah, I see a lot of these say work order,
That's right.
and of course, a lot of it's grass, your favorite. So yeah, but that's, okay, that's what I'm seeing. I see that now that in the notes, it's saying work order. Okay, thank you. I just want to get some clarification.
We good to move on then?
We'll say real quick, we don't have to fix this now, but just to bring it back to the top of our minds. You know, back a little while back, we were doing the waivers for the tall grass. We have a half a dozen of those. We need to get back, and we know we've got, I don't know, 50 or more properties that need it, right? But we need to get back somehow to, maybe that's something Danny can do, Sprague, and visit those people and say, if you're gonna have a tall grass, you need to fill out the waiver and have it on file. Because the list here has.
Oh, you're talking about for like cutting, for hay and stuff?
Yeah, yeah,
So-
you get the waiver, you'll.
so a lot of times when we issue a letter to them about that, a lot of times they will contact us, and if they tell us it's gonna be used for agriculture or hay fields, we immediately tell them, hey, you need to get hold of City Hall and or come to the police department and fill one of those
I
out.
just wonder why people aren't doing it. You know, we tried to, back a year ago, get the information out there. And I think it's only been the people we've told in person. And half of them are in our room, yeah. But anyway, I don't know, but surely that many people aren't just saying, no, we're not gonna do it. I hope not.
My turn. Yeah, well, I wanna touch on something real quick before I forget it. Me and another city official was talking about this. Audio on the city properties where everybody's working at. We have cameras and they're great. They deter theft, whatever. I'm in agreement with the one that brought it up with me that I don't know that we necessarily have to have audio on all of our city employees because let's face it, we all get upset sometimes. Maybe we want to vent a little bit and they should feel comfortable at least to be able to vent at their spot of workplace when they're on a break or whatever like that. And if we can't trust our employees to do their job,
Thank you.
then what are we doing?
Well, I think the cameras were meant for security, just like you said, and I'm in agreement. You know, if they were put up there to spy on the employees, then that should have been explained whenever they put them up.
Well, I got an explanation and find it satisfactory. I had them take them out of my computers. Cause I'm like you, if I can't trust you, I don't want you working for me.
That's right. You know, this place operated how many years without them?
Yeah.
and everything got accomplished.
And I love them on the bathroom, public restrooms, parks, that sort of thing, but I don't need to see who's coming in the door, and I sure y'all don't need to listen to conversation.
So we make a motion to,
Can I ask a question
Go ahead.
of our attorney to see if that resource of cameras and having audio on those cameras is a benefit? Should there be some type of litigation against the city being able to show that something didn't happen or did happen? So I'm wondering the legal implications of having audio on these cameras.
I don't think the problem.
To not do it, so you don't think it puts us at greater risk to not have it?
I actually think it's opposite,
yeah,
I think he did too.
because we overheard a private conversation. Yeah, they're in a public building and they're in public, so you can have a camera. But I think there's a question as to whether you can listen to my private conversation. And plus, there's audio down our hallway that if I don't have my door closed, you can listen to everything that's said. Now, think you know, well, I care about here's what I got to say.
I make a motion.
I'll
to
say
get rid of the
so.
audio.
do I have a second on that?
I'm sorry.
Is that a motionable thing, or is that internal administration's thing?
That was in terms,
I didn't know if we need to make a motion for that part, or we
Yeah, I
actually
don't know if
step
we have-
over the authority of the city manager, city administrator.
Okay, well, hold on.
I'm just
But,
asking.
yeah, no, you have a good point.
Can I just request to keep it in my lobby and in front of the police department?
No, that's different. That's.
Please. Because that helps us with a lot of domestic issues and things that
We
show
have a lot
up
of
there
families come
that.
in there that swap kids,
Yes.
so let that, okay, yeah, I agree.
So based on the administrator's recommendation, certain areas of our city, we need it, not other
Yeah,
areas.
on the police side, probably a good place.
And yeah, so I think if we're
We're
gonna
like
make
this.
this determination, we need to be specific.
Okay, so like
about
at the city, I don't know where
Where
they're
it's
at,
gonna be, where it's not going to be, so.
I'd say
everywhere but
make
the
a motion
police,
to
because
get
the
rid
police
of the
actually
audio
do
with
it.
the discretion of the administrator.
things get shut off if it's up to me.
Except for Dana.
Except for Dana.
But that's, and I'm not trying to step on your toes, boss.
No, I
I mean,
understand what
but
you're
it's,
saying.
it's been very beneficial
If it's a tool
on,
for you, we
on
want you to have
cases
it.
and things like that.
It is a tool
So,
for you.
And I feel like you probably do need that.
But I was
Seriously.
sitting in my office when I first got here and heard D6. And look, hell, I'm listening and watching the seniors. I don't need to watch the bingo game or to listen to their personal conversation.
And Chief Gibbons, for the fire department, is there any need to have it at the fire department for any type of security reasons, like Danny's pointing out? for
The
the-
only reason I have cameras is to keep people from getting in there and messing with the stuff. I personally don't like the audio, just on the off chance that, say, I'm debriefing somebody on the call that they ran.
Yeah.
That HIPAA information is now recorded audio, which shouldn't be.
That's actually a violation.
Actually opens up to more of the law. So,
It's good, huh?
which is also open to sunshine requests. Is that not correct?
Yeah.
We don't want to open our doors to that. So we're all agreeing then,
If we need a
Whatever he
motion,
says.
I want the motion to be administrator.
I don't
This
think
area
we have to
of-
have motion for that because it was internally done in the first place, so.
But
I mean,
Well, if we
We're the
went with
City Hall,
a motion, no, we have to
Farmers or something.
amend the
right?
agenda
City Hall.
to be legal, since it's not
on
on
the
your,
agenda.
pardon?
It's not on the agenda, you're right.
So if they don't vote on anything, are we okay?
yeah, so I mean, so that's basically what I'm asking. Is everybody okay with him doing what he feels right for the city? That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, protect our
You can always change
employees
your mind, but
and.
Okay, so for right now, Rick, you're good to go.
good, my turn. I'm excited this time. Bulldog pipe, done. Yeah. And, we have a final audit with the EDA grant that we'll have to go through, but that's not a problem. All the physical work is done though. Street's been paved and everything's in and working, and that's good news. 20th Street sewer complete. And I want to recognize Chris Tinsley. I was told we don't have the equipment, we don't have the manpower, which is all true, to do set 4 manholes, run the rest of that line. Chris Tinsley said, well, yeah, we kind of do. give me 4 people. So I was able to go to Bo and get a couple and Parks and get one. And we got 4 people for him. And Chris oversaw that and finished it up before this budget year ended. So it didn't extend our expense over the next year. It was in the air. Our Bobcat is back. And I told Fred when we get it fixed, I need to be the first one to drive it, since I don't want to talk the city into getting it years ago, and I was the first one that drove it. And they were gonna throw it out and buy a new one. And I said, no, we don't have $89,000.
Now, do you have to take the test the way I did at Caterpillar in order to be able to drive one of theirs?
Well, maybe I've been driving one since I was 7.
It didn't matter. They said I had to have a test.
Well, Fred saved us about 60 grand. I want to recognize him for that because he put a new motor in the other one. Came in today and said, come drive it. I said, well, I'm not climbing on it today because I got a council meeting, but I'll be out there in the morning and drive. He's not letting it move, however, till we have a trailer, car trailer, that we can haul it from one job to another. Because the reason the motor's burned up, because they drove it from here out to the golf course. And it's like best way I can tell you, it's the difference between a street bike and a bike that goes over the country. They're not built for highways, so if you drive too much highway, they'll burn up. Same way the Bobcat. So we will be hauling it from now on. But he saved us right at 60 grand. The motor cost is just over 9,000. He put it in, and we had just about 2,200 for a trailer. So very good job.
Very good job, yeah.
And old Fred smiles now when he comes in.
It's
You all
true.
remember Fred, he kind of has a frown once in a while. And I said, don't you dare come to my office without a smile on your face. So now he comes in and intentionally smiles. And he told me that today. I said, Fred, I'm gonna hug you. He says, I'd really rather you wouldn't. Okay, I won't then, but I want to. Airport project, it's proceeding. They're gonna start in the next 10 days with some of their surveying and getting ready for the dirt work that needs to be done. And that contract you awarded some time ago to Voorhees, and they're fired up and ready to go too. Lake Lily, they're working on it, but in between rain, every time it rains, it slows them down. And it seems like every other day we get a big downpour, so we're still working on it. Bush Street, we're in a delay there only because they applied for more money. It won't be more money on our part, but they're asking for another 56,000 in order to do that absolutely correct. And they're pretty sure they're gonna get it. Talked with the gal at Skokog today, and she was certain you're gonna get that. The fairgrounds, they came to us with a problem. I don't know if you know it or not, and I want to give a shout out to the fair board. They've purchased about $500,000 in improvements in the last 7 years at the fairgrounds. And they're getting ready to put another new building. They have to get rid of the old one, the hog barn that's in the middle, in order to build the one that's almost twice that size. And unfortunately, on each side of that hog barn are these huge trees. And I don't know if you've had a tree taken out lately, but it's pretty doggone expensive to have it taken out. So I'd asked Bo and Chris Densley and Tim at the parks, boys, we need to start thinking outside the box on not how we can't do it, but how we can do it. And guess what? For the purchase of a 20-inch extension on a chainsaw, we got somebody capable of taking them down safely. Once we get them down safely, I've got 4 or 5 guys that can cut them up into firewood, which we'll use to heat our own public works buildings for the street department, water and sewer. On top of that, the fair board has agreed, they're gonna get some volunteers together and they'll haul off the limbs. And once they get those limbs away, then Bo will go get stumps out with our loader and our backhoe. And yeah, it'll take long, we have to dig, it's a pain. There's a lot of them. It's gonna be hot work, but again, you got Tinsley and Bo coming right up to the rescue as far as I'm concerned. And it's not saving us directly any money because we weren't committed to doing anything. But they are improving our fair. We own the land. So every improvement they make is a benefit to the fairgrounds and to the city. Police cars. Danny Bledsoe, he didn't mention this. You budgeted $100,000 for 2 police cars this year. Council approved. Old Danny found 39,000 apiece. Gonna save us about 20 grand. Well, anyway, I'll get to two more. Sewer treatment building, we're not gonna have to continue. I went and looked at it. And, I didn't feel like it needed to be condemned. So I had a contractor that does commercial buildings go in and perform the, structural integrity inspection. And he said, no, he agreed with me 100%. So we're not gonna cut it. We don't have to buy an extra building. I think you all approved it to buy, put their lab in and keep the lab right where it's at. We're gonna have to do some retucking on some blocks where mortars come out. Couple holes need to be patched. Yeah, it needs a paint job real bad, that we're gonna have to do. And to be honest with you, we need to do a little bit of remodeling in there with his, lab because it's, let's just, that hell depress anybody. You know, so we wanna make it a little brighter, nicer, cleaner. Nobody wants to go to the dump. And, we had an inspection by Linda Mallory and Dolores for our insurance company's purposes. Oh, I made you a copy. Here, let me just give it to you real quick. Anyway, after we had it, we had a meeting with the department heads. And they, were told about their inspections and some of the things they needed to do. And some of them were real good about not having to do anything. And, and we had some places that needed to improve. And so, we met with them and had a discussion on that. And, everybody's working real hard trying to get things spruced up, fixed up, cleaned up. Pretty happy with them. All in all, we probably saved, in last week, we saved $100,000. So, I think that's all attributed to, our employees and their, thinking outside the box. And I was excited because I like people that think outside the box, and I don't think we're even close to being done yet doing that. I hope not, because it makes it fun. And let me tell you, those boys have worked hard and they've done it in some big ass folks even eat.
So you said that was about 100,000 roughly we saved?
Yeah. And so, I'm really excited.
That's great.
That's all I got. Thank you.
Let's hear it for our city. Just in the world. I love our city employees so much.
Before we move on to the last thing that we're all excited for is we're gonna do build real quick.
Gotta tell you one thing.
What's that?
We have some duplications. We'll get you a correct report. This is indicating about $400,000 or plus what we spent. They got some of last month's bills. I don't know how come the computer kicked them over, but we'll get it separated out right and get you a copy.
We saved 100 and lost 400 there.
No, we didn't. We didn't. Okay.
All right, I need a motion to, oh, yeah, sorry, motion to pay bills. Yep.
I'll start off, I'll make a motion to pay the bills.
You,
Or we just do it all at once?
June
We need to pass
ninth,
it back.
Mark, motion to pay bills.
Oh,
And then who seconded that?
Sorry, I made a motion.
Okay, so you made a motion, and then Mark also.
I'll second it,
So
yeah.
Mark seconded, okay. And Mark says?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, now somebody needs to make a motion to go to executive sessions, please.
It was the.
I make a motion, we're going to executive session.
All right. Leave off phones. You
You
gotta have.
Oh, you have a second, sorry.
Morning, Jones.
Somebody second, Carmen.
Yes.